Well, good. Good night. 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 Anyway, well, I am here to talk. Oh, there's a lot going on in the world. A lot of like not so good stuff. And, there are still good people in the world. There's still good people in the world. Anyway, so a friend of mine, years ago, I used to belong to a theater ensemble company. And we used to, do live theater. So we used to go, to different places to do productions and whatnot, whatnot, whatnot. And so, people, in the we're into stuff. We used to do like warm ups, theater games and whatnot, um, yoga poses, which I now know is like worshiping a deity and all these different things. So yeah, and they used to do all these different practices. The people that I hung out with, um, a lot of them were very Afrocentric. Okay. And I used to wear a lot of African. There was one point in my life where, like, I used to wear African clothing every single day. And I eventually, I guess I got rid of them, And there's so many beautiful African clothing. I mean, to me, when certain people, when they put on their African clothing, they look like kings and queens. They look so regal, so, you know what I mean? But anyway, so, and people were into stuff, alternative stuff, um and think, because of being black, being a person. I don't like to say black because we're not, we're different complexions, so I'll say brown. And certain things they did is cultural things, is because of being a person of color. They or the, and the practices came from the ancestors, so they wanted to participate and do different things, that because the ancestors did it and because they felt it was part of the tradition, that we need to continue to um, celebrate and practice, right? So I think it was 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine, he sent me a flyer, and he's a believer. There are people who, for whatever reason, do not understand and realize that Jesus Christ was also part of our system back in the day. You know what I mean? Our ancestors. There were those in our ancestry who were followers of Jesus Christ. For whatever reason, they only know about the paganism thing and, all these different ceremonies and things like that. But they seem to not recognize that Jesus Christ was also um, someone, a system that was worshipped, by our ancestry. So there are a lot of brown people, because they want to identify with something, because they feel as though they are disconnected and not respected and not treated the way we should be treated. They feel like practicing certain things that our ancestors did in the back in the day like the witchcraft and the voodoo and the obi and all these different things, they consider that to be our original religion, not understanding that that's the worship of demons. All right. So when my friend gave me the flyer, um, he sent it to me, email and whatnot, and libation and all of that. Let me see if I could. Matter of fact, let me look up the word libation. Libation, libation. It's basically something that people do. Okay. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to. What does it say? The pouring out of a drink as an offering to a deity. This is what the dictionary says on the internet. The pouring out of a drink as an offering to a deity. Okay. All right. So, the pouring out of a drink as an offering to a deity. And this is a regular dictionary definition. What is dictionary is this? It's the Oxford Dictionary. And that's what it says. So when people are pouring out libation, thinking like, oh, it's part of the way our ancestors celebrate, and it's part of something good. In actuality, the deity that they're pouring out libation to is actually demons. And people have no clue. There are brown people, because they feel it's part of their heritage, they pour out libation to deities. Now, God doesn't like that, okay, because that's worshiping another God. And there, so going to a libation ceremony, what is that about? You understand what I'm saying? No one should really be participating in a libation ceremony, especially those who call themselves followers of Jesus Christ. Mm, yes. Followers of Jesus Christ should not be anywhere near a libation ceremony, because that's the worshiping of demons. It's an offering to demons. You understand what I'm saying? So I just came on here just to express that. And Exodus, I think it was Exodus, let me see. Where did God say? Well, I put it in the description. Exodus 23, thou shalt have no other gods before me. So, shalt means never ever have another God besides the God of the Bible. So, so those people who participate in libations, thinking that, oh, it's like part of our culture and all these different things. Yeah, people did them. People did libations. our ancestors did libations. But on however, here we are today. Have I'm sure there are people who have wondered why are people of brown people so persecuted in the world. And if you read the Bible, you will see why. Because God says, it's a cause and effect thing. When you do things, God will allow you to be punished. And off the top of my head, you will see examples of this in, I think it's Deuteronomy 28. God says, if you do this, you turn your back, I'm paraphrasing, your back on him, he will, scatter you all over the place and you experience certain plagues and these different things. And if you read the Bible closely, you will notice that every time people did certain acts, God gave them over to destruction and issues. You understand what I'm saying? So it will behoove everyone, especially believers, because really I'm talking to believers. A major part of the reason why people of color are suffering so much today is because of what our predecessors did. Like all these different crazy things, pouring out libation, doing libation ceremonies and all these different things, worshiping other gods and gods of stone and all these different things. So when you read the Bible, read for understanding, see clearly, you know, for every cause in the Bible, there is an effect. Every cause in our lives, there is an effect. So that's what I basically call to share. Stay away from libations, and as I usually say, um, you want to repent every day because you never know when you mess up. Because sometimes we do something and it seems simple to us, but it's actually something that puts the hole in the hedge of our protection. So we want to be on the safe side, and we want to repent every day, and as much as possible, as best as we can, live a holy life. Because there are people who do not understand that when God says, if my people who are called by my name will turn from their wicked ways and so on and so on. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the whole verse. That he will hear from heaven, and he will change situations, work things out for us. So wicked ways has to do with murder, lying, adultery, idolatry, fornication, masturbation, astrology, libations, divination, witchcraft, voodoo, santeria, sangoma, obia. People actually think voodoo was a good thing because our ancestors did it. These different things, witchcraft, all these different things, because our ancestors did it. They think it's a good thing, and it was part of our tradition and something we should be doing. So what I say to you is the devil is a liar. That's what I'm saying to you. There are people who rather please men than please God. There's a lot going on in this world. This world is not as simple as we want it to be. It's not as simple as we want it to be. But anyway, I'm going to get off. It's, getting late. I'm kind of tired. Um, yeah, I'm really, really kind of tired. So I'm going to hop off and Read the Bible every day and learn. Okay? So I will see you when I see you, and blessings to you.